So yesterday, Joe Biden is giving a speech. And at the end, journalists were able to come and ask him a few questions. So I'm going to play you this clip. Take a look at his response.
Last week, your running mate, Senator Harris, said that the officer who shot Jacob Blake, based on what she has seen, should be charged. Do you agree with her? And do you also believe the same for the officers who were involved in the death of Breonna Taylor?
I think we should let the judicial system work its way. I do think there's a minimum need to be charged, the officers, and as well as Breonna Taylor. And I might add, by the way, I think what happened in Portland, where one of the Trump guys riding along in Venmo.
This is unreal. So if you recall correctly, Breonna Taylor, she was an EMT, she's a medic, and she was sleeping in her boyfriend's home when police, who had a no-knock warrant, barged in, 3 of them, if I recall correctly, and they just started unloading. They were in plain clothes, and they got the wrong address to add insult to injury. And her boyfriend, thinking that it was a bunch of burglars, who wouldn't? You know, you see 3 guys in civilian clothes, last thing on your mind is that these people are cops. So, but nonetheless, they killed his girlfriend and then arrested him. They shot her 8 times, man. 8 bullets. And she died in a pool of her blood. And to this day, this happened a few months ago, back in February, if I'm not mistaken. And and the cops who shot her still have not been arrested. They're still walking free. And on top of it, as I said, they arrested her boyfriend. Can you believe that? They were in plain clothes. They had a no-knock warrant. They got the wrong address. They killed his girlfriend, and then they arrest him. I mean, how this man is still sane, I have no clue. I don't know what kind of patience this guy has, but props to him. Regardless, what you hear Joe Biden saying here is that Breonna Taylor should be arrested. First of all, she's dead. Yeah, the cops killed her. She passed away. She was murdered. So I don't know how you want to charge her with anything. Now, second of all, you have people, the blue MAGAs, who are coming in and trying to give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt. And they're doing this in several ways. So they're saying that, oh, well, you know, he misspoke. Clearly, what he meant is the officers involved in Jacob Blake's case should be charged. And as well for Breonna Taylor in the case of Breonna Taylor. So they're saying that he misspoke. And he's just saying that the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's killing should also be arrested. Listen, man. First of all, this guy's running for president. I mean, he's interviewing for the most important job in the country. You don't think he should be a bit more specific in his wording? No? Is this such a callous, unimportant, trivial issue that he rushes through it? Why is it upon the general public to interpret what he was trying to say? Also, just to disprove that, Joe Biden did not misspeak. He said it twice. You just weren't paying attention. What did he say, first of all? What is the first thing that comes out of his mouth when he's answering the question? He says, I think the judicial system should work its way. What does that mean? Especially coming from somebody who wrote the 94 crime bill, who pushed the war on drugs. What does that mean? That means he's totally fine with her boyfriend being charged with attempted murder on police when they barged into his own home. And if you haven't been paying attention, look at what came out just this week. The Associated Press reports that a plea deal was offered to Breonna Taylor's boyfriend in exchange for linking her to a drug ring. A lawyer for Breonna Taylor's family said prosecutors offered a plea deal to an accused drug trafficker that would have forced him to implicate Taylor in criminal activity after her killing by police had pushed her name to the forefront of a national reckoning on race. Can you believe that? That's what Joe Biden means when he says, let the judicial system work its way. Oh, he's not kidding. He's not kidding. They're trying to charge her after her own death, after her being murdered. So he did not misspeak. He told you 2 times the same thing. He thinks Breonna Taylor should be charged. You just weren't paying attention. And if he had just said, let the judicial system work its way, just the first part alone, we know what he means. This is a judicial system that is corrupt, that defends police who murdered unarmed civilians, that defends corrupt chiefs of police and corrupt DAs and corrupt judges and corrupt officers, who upholds this systemic racism, who uses prisoners as slave labor. That's what he means. You're okay with that? You ain't paying attention then. If you're paying attention, you would not be okay with that. You could not be okay with that. You could not possibly be okay with that. The last part of the sentence where he says the officers should be charged, as well as Breonna Taylor, is just him repeating the same thing, but more clearly, so he can really drive home the point. You just ain't paying attention. You obviously don't know this guy's record. You obviously don't know what the judicial system working its way means for you to think that he misspoke. No, he did not misspeak. And honestly, if you are really trying to play devil's advocate with this racist architect of such a disgusting criminal justice system, if you can even call it a justice system, it's a for-profit prison industry. You're really playing devil's advocate with this guy? You sure about that? Yeah? This guy killed over 1 million people in Iraq and turned millions of them into refugees and still will not even apologize. It wouldn't suffice, but he won't even apologize for that. And still claims that George Bush conned him. I mean, you think he gives a shit about a black woman being shot in her home? He doesn't give a shit about anybody. He made the system. He participated in its creation and it's in its continuation. Wake up. Why are you deluding yourself? What do you get out of that? So, if you want to call this a gaffe, it's not a gaffe. No. Joe Biden, his stutter, as they like to claim, the latest one we covered with this COVID rambling, I can't even quote it. I don't even know how to repeat it because what he said was such gibberish that nothing remains. Nonetheless, these gaffes and stutters are not just gaffes and stutters. It's the real Biden coming out when he says that poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids. It's not just gaffes. It's not just stutters. It's not just blunders. Okay. This is the real Joe Biden coming out. If you're trying to play devil's advocate with this, you really think somebody who speaks in this manner is fit to sit in the Oval Office? You're grasping at straws here. This is beyond grasping at straws. Like, seriously, go and check yourself, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to come here and tell me that a guy who called black youths, who called African-American youths super predators and said that he doesn't want his kids to live in a racial jungle is misspeaking here? Oh no, that's him. It's the same guy. Don't make no mistake. This guy wrote the crime bill. He pushed for the war on drugs. He loves paramilitarized policing. What are you talking about? Like, do I mince my words? When I'm speaking to you, do you have any fucking doubt where I stand on something? I'm telling you directly. The cops are murderers. Charge him, throw him in the can. End of story. Not, let them go scot-free, and I think maybe they should be charged, and, even if they're charged, they can still go and work under current laws in another police department. No, I'm very clear with you. This motherfucker is running for president, and he can't be clear with you? Nah, he's very clear. You just ain't paying attention. So don't try to play devil's advocate.